Hey, what's up, everyone? Mike goes to youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons1 and rockinguitarlessons.com. How are you guys? We're doing some more Q&A here, and we're going to switch it up instead of this guitar player versus this guitar player. I don't know if versus is the right word, but basically my opinion on this one is Alice in Chains versus Nirvana, and this comes from subscriber Roller. And this is our Q&A for today. I like to kind of start them out. Obviously, these are opinions, but I'm just going to say right up front, when Nirvana first came out, I was not a very happy camper. Wasn't very pleased. I didn't like them. I just, if you grew up in the 80s, you know, with the bands that I did and the guitar players that I was influenced by, then you understand what I'm saying. For the most part, I assume you would. It took me a while, a few years to graft in and you know, respect, appreciate the music more. I reflected back on my all-time favorite band, the Beatles. This is what kind of helped me come to this, because you guys know I like everything, you know, but it was pretty traumatic to go from Warren DeMartini and Steve Vai and Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads to Nirvana. It just it didn't set right with me, and it killed a lot of those 80s bands. I get music needs to change, it needs to evolve, it needs to grow, but as time went on, I got over it. Dream Theater came out in the 90s, actually the late 80s with them, but they started getting successful in the early 90s. I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. But you know, the Beatles were very simple in the early days, and I loved that about them. And they evolved, and they went from very simple to very sophisticated with orchestrated parts, and just, you know, obviously there was drug influence, but it doesn't take away from the genius of the Beatles, you know, McCartney and Lennon, the whole band, really. So then I, you know, as a guitar teacher, you know, you end up teaching your students what they like, and got to hear more stuff, like off the Nirvana album, Bleach, their first album. And then started to go, hey man, this is pretty cool sounding. It has this raw energy vibe to it. I had to look at it through a different set of lenses, you know, just raw, punky, energetic, in your face against everybody type thing. So it grew on me from there. Alice in Chains, you know, the first song I heard from them, Man in the Box. Now they had more of that metal vibe going on, you know, along the lines of like Soundgarden and stuff. Lane Staley, just great vocalist. The whole band, Alice in Chains, Jerry Cantrell. I mean, there was a really unique element to Alice in Chains, kind of in a different way than Nirvana. You know, when you think about the influences, you know, if you go to Nirvana, they were influenced by Mudhoney and the Pixies and even Sabbath at some points, you know, and I can hear that in there. They definitely did their own thing, put their own twist on it. You know, when Nirvana came out, it just changed music, because then all these bands started having this Nirvana sound. And I suppose, you know, in the 80s it started doing that too. We had a decade of, you know, The Flash, and then everyone trying to write Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and just, you know, recycled stuff, and it wasn't, it was time for a change. This is just the change that it headed towards. So, you know, I can tell you now, I do like Nirvana, and I do like Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains, Nirvana, the early stuff was just more, I don't know if energetic is the word, or raw. You know, as the albums went on, you got into In Utero, and there's a more commercial radio poppy kind of vibe to it, which was cool too. And let's not forget, you know, one of the musical geniuses of music, Dave Grohl, was playing drums behind all that. Killer drummer, and just an all-around great songwriter. Dave Grohl is actually my favorite member of Nirvana. And I remember when Foo Fighters came out, just, you know, buying, forget the first album, but I remember when Color and Shape came out, I just wore that CD out. Dave Grohl, brilliant, you know. Cobain had his own thing, you know. I get that, and it changed music for the 90s, and even up to now. So you want to get to the nitty gritty, who's my favorite? Alice in Chains. What else did I write on here? We had Facelift, Dirt, and then Alice in Chains. I think each band wound up with 3 albums, and then we lost both singers, right? For each band, if I'm not mistaken on that. If I am, let me know in the comments below. And I guess that's it. I mean, I do love all styles of music. You guys are aware of that. I remember in the 80s there was a punk band that went against the mold for me, and I started listening to some punk music, and that band was Suicidal Tendencies. Just loved them, you know, and then had the really good musicianship in it. That's what drew me to it. But you know, I had the wearing the flannel, and you know, then listening to Black Flag and White Flag, and you know, but I was still listening to Maiden and all the other stuff. But you know, I'm like a sponge. I soak up, you know, if it sounds good, I like it, is what it comes down to. So Alice in Chains, Nirvana, both great bands. They're both iconic bands. They both wrote a lot of good songs. They had distinct singers, distinct songwriting. But if I had to put them on the scale, it's going to be Alice in Chains and then Nirvana. So now let me know what your thoughts are. Because this is cool. I'm actually getting to know my subscribers a little better by reading up on this stuff. I gave you my opinion, now you give me yours. Be sure to add me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you'll find that in the description down below. Be sure to subscribe to youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons1 if you haven't yet. What was that? What the heck is that? And then click the notifications icon, and that'll inform you each time I upload a lesson. Okay, so keep your Q&As coming, and we're going to keep answering those and keep bringing the lessons to you as well. Until next time, I'm Mike Gross, signing off. Keep rocking.